What's up, guys, and welcome back to Just Chris Podcast. This is your host, Chris Carter, and this week, second week in a row, I got a guest on the podcast today. I have a very special guest, a close friend of mine, a fellow coworker, a book fanatic, Derek Nuzum. Derek, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Chris.
There we go. You got the books behind you, dude.
I got the books. I brought
Dude,
the
I'm
books
happy
with
you're
me.
on.
Oh my gosh, I'm
There we
so
go.
glad to
Yeah.
be here because I have talked to so many people about, I was like, should I just ask Chris to bring me on the podcast? Do I wait for an invite? So thank you for finally letting this happen. It's exciting to be here. I'm glad you're doing this.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Dude, it's been a good time. It's been a slow start, especially I'd say like the first 5 episodes were probably like the hardest ones to get going. And then I got to a point of like comfortability with like my episodes, like with the editing and everything. And now I'm at a point where I can just kind of like zip through all of that, like all the editing and like getting a nice flow.
Yeah, that's fair. I noticed the first few episodes of the podcast were very meta. It was like philosophizing about podcasting itself.
I had a few people mention that to me. Yeah. So before we get into, I got a pretty good setup for today's episode. I got a couple hot topics we're going to bring up. Before we do that, you want to introduce yourself, give a little background, maybe like what you went to school for, what you're doing now, little fun facts.
Yeah. So Derek Nuzum, I'm from the Elkins area originally, and Davis Elkins College is where I work now. That's where you and I met. And let's see. So West Virginia, born and raised. Went to Fairmont State University, got a degree in oh my gosh, secondary education. I forgot that because I don't use it really anymore. I'll be doing instruction for librarianship one day, hopefully, but right now I don't really teach anything. But had a little foray in Seattle, teaching 4th and 5th graders how to read and do math, and then came back to the area to be with family. Started working at D&E it's about 3.5 years ago. Yeah, got into librarianship. Can't think of a good fun fact, and that's goofy because I should have thought of one way earlier. I'm just gonna throw one in there. I'm gonna surprise my fun fact. It'll be out of nowhere somewhere halfway through this conversation.
It will just hit you. Okay, yeah. We'll put that one on the table. Cool. So you mentioned that you work in the library. What is your like position title? You play a pretty key role in Booth Library and on D&E's campus.
Yeah, so I'm the evening coordinator here at Booth Library. So I'm mainly responsible for closing the building and managing it in the evening hours. So in the evening, I am the last person here, the last staff person here at Booth Library. And I have students with me most of the time, but I'm the last line of defense for these books. I'm here to keep them safe. I'm here to close everything up, make sure the books are tucked in at night, doors are locked.
There we go.
I'm just here to help out the D&E community when they need some help after hours.
Heck yeah, like helping them print, fax stuff, all the big things, turn on the computers.
Yeah, it happens a lot. Yeah.
I believe it. I mean, shoot, I've been there. So what got you interested in working at the library?
Okay, so honestly, it was serendipity. I just needed a job, and that's probably not a good way to frame it. And I hope that anybody watching this from D&E doesn't take that the wrong way, but it just kind of happened to be, it was just like, I didn't come to Elkins thinking, gosh, libraries are my passion. Can't wait to get into the library. But I was like fresh out of college. I had only worked a summer at Tigert Lake State Park as a naturalist, and it was just a seasonal job. So my contract was ending in September, and I knew that I had to come back to Elkins for family reasons. So I was like, gonna have to find a job. Now I had worked at a gas station my whole time during college, and I knew I was not going back to that. Didn't want to go back to that. And so it just so happened there was a posting at the library, which is pretty close to teaching, fairly close. And I didn't quite want to get into teaching. So it just kind of perfect storm, and I just came here. But then once I started working in a library, I was like, this is the ticket. This is it. So then I went and got into the master's program at the University of Pittsburgh, and now I'm working on it to get there to the full-time librarianship stuff, the real gritty librarian stuff.
So you talked about getting into the library, and it was kind of just like serendipity for it all to kind of fall in place. And then was there a time where it just kind of clicked, like, okay, this is something like I'm interested in?
I don't think there was an exact moment. It was just kind of a build-up, and I can really thank Mary Jo for that, because I think getting into any sort of career path is a lot like getting into a workout regimen. And so a lot of people hate leg day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason for that is they start off too big too quickly. They throw themselves into it. They're not ready for, the weights or the movement or whatever. And they just grind it out because they think that's what I have to do. And then they're dreading it every single day because they haven't worked into something gently, gotten themselves acclimated to it. And luckily in this position, I was able to come into basically a brand new environment. And I got acclimated because Mary Jo was there to facilitate that. And it wasn't like I was thrown into the wolves immediately and just eaten up by it and started dreading work. It was something where I was like, okay, this is nice. I like this. I like working in a library and helping people, because it is customer service in a lot of ways, but it's a very unique brand and species of customer service. So
yeah,
that, it built up to me wanting to be here for a while.
Do you have any like crazy stories or anything that's happened at the library that's like truly memorable, or like something that stands out the most?
Yeah, there's a couple things. So, and let me relate this back to what I said earlier about working in a gas station. When you work in a gas station, you run into anything and everything. You meet all kinds of people. Especially since I worked at a gas station that was right along a major highway that goes through West Virginia, right along I-79. So I was kind of prepared for whatever would happen here at the library. Now, there has been situations where, like, when pre-COVID, we would let the community in, and they would be in the library. And one time there was a little boy and like his grandmother, and God bless this little boy, but he came in and he used our bathroom. And he made a really big mess, specifically out of doo-doo. He made a doo-doo mess, and it was it was kind of all over the place. And I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't expecting it. I found it was funny. It wasn't like frustrating. I mean, it wasn't very frustrating just because of how absurd it was that it happened in the library, because I wasn't ready for that. So it was lighthearted enough. We got the kid to clean up his mess. Everybody was very cool and gentle about it. That was nice. There was a situation where I stabbed myself in the hand cutting open a zip tie to like free up a computer cable.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You told me about this.
Yeah, you came in and visited, and we sat down in the lobby and we chatted about, old man stuff, having surgeries and stuff. But yeah, you don't expect a work injury in the library, and just blood everywhere. So, I mean, like, there have been situations where unexpected entirely, but really the good outweighs the bad by a fair margin, I would say.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. Now, what's your take on the library being haunted? Because, I've told some people some stories in my experience about being down on that bottom floor at closing. Do you believe in those myths, those stories? Have you experienced anything wild yourself like I have? Because people didn't believe me. I was like, I'm telling you, have you not been on the bottom floor at closing? Like, it's kind of creepy.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, you bring up a really good point. Now, this whole campus, right? This is a land with some history.
Right.
This building was built in 1992, and skeptics will say it's fake. They'll say you can't have ghosts in a building that was built in 1992. I mean, I was built in 1992. I'm as old as this building is. And so people are like, you can't have ghosts here. Yes, you can. And yes, we do. And actually, in the scholars room where I am right now, and Chris, I can't believe you're making me talk about this in the same room where it happened.
Yeah, you better hope nothing crazy happens.
We don't know. And so, but I was on this. If I move my computer, it's gonna goof everything up, I'm sure. But the mezzanine up here, where it's like a second tier in the scholars room, I was up, but I was on the opposite end over here. And there were books on the shelf on the bottom floor. I'm the only person in the room. And I'm moving things around for a collection from one of the founders, Henry Gasaway Davis. We have some of his old books. And I'm moving those books around, organizing them. Well, down here, an unrelated collection, a book just flies off the shelf. I don't know. And it's laying like 5 feet away from the shelf on the floor. It's not like the building had rumbled in any way that I felt. West Virginia, we don't really have earthquakes. It does happen from time to time, very, very rare. And so I'm just saying it's unexplainable. I am saying also that if I had to explain it by saying it was ghosts, people might believe that. Just because ghosts do that stuff. They move things. It's really about the only thing ghosts do. So.
Yeah. Open and close cupboard doors, flick on the lights, just weird stuff.
Rattling chains. Yeah. Chasing teenagers and their dog around. I mean.
It happens.
It happens.
It happens.
Part of their MO.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, dude, I definitely believe that, I'm going to stay true to my word that Booth Library is haunted. Now, people listening to this at DNE, they don't know about it. Well, now you know. So keep an eye out for that bottom floor. Keep an eye out for the scholars room. Books are flying off the shelves. But yeah, it's crazy and it's definitely true. It does. Now, to kind of segue into the other topic that I want to introduce. So Booth Library is pretty active on social media. Is that correct?
Yeah, specifically Instagram.
Instagram?
We do upload informational stuff to YouTube very occasionally just as instructional tools, but Instagram is where we exist digitally for social media.
And what kind of content do you guys put on social media or on Instagram? Like if you could describe your type of photos and like how you portray the information.
Yeah, most of the stuff we put out is informational content. We're trying to bring people's attention to what's going on in the library. So most recently, we put up a post for Black History Month where we made a display and brought attention to the authors that we have in the library. And we made a little book display, and then we made like a bulletin board out in the lobby. So we do a lot of display stuff to just show people what we got. We also do, like, if a policy changes, like you're not allowed to have food in the library anymore. So we'll post about that. And we do post some memes from time to time, just because it's like, that is one of the best ways on social media, in my opinion, to convey information in a way that really grabs people's attention.
Right.
Because like when you're doing, when you're going up to do public speaking, they always tell you got to have a hook and you got to bring people's attention in. Memes do that so quickly. People just see it if they know the format, which oftentimes they do. If they're meme connoisseurs, then they're like, that's good, that's funny. Now I have this message in my heart. I find it easy to remember memes versus, just dry information that somebody gives you.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And you mentioned the word or words meme connoisseurs. Would you take yourself as, somewhat of a meme connoisseur yourself?
I would say so, just because it's been a part of my digital experience ever since I was a teenager. Memes, I guess, have existed for a very, very, very long time, not necessarily in the format that we understand them, but, on the internet, memes on the internet really just like have evolved so much over time. And it's almost like technology itself. I think that to understand memes, it's a lot easier for people that grew up with them. So like if you grew up with a smartphone and you got your first smartphone when you were 13 years old, and now you're 25 years old, and you've just been having smartphones your whole life and using different Apple, Samsung, all that stuff, that skill of using that technology will translate to other technology because it's more intuitive for you. You know that like what a home button does, or how to delete an app, or how to start an app, versus somebody who, not to be ageist, maybe older, and they just didn't grow up with that stuff when that stuff was first coming out. They were like, yeah, it's cool, but it doesn't really apply to me. I don't really need to use it. And then they
Right.
pick up, an iPad in the year 2019, and it's the first time they're ever using it. They don't have that background knowledge. And so it's the same with memes. If you see something, you can relate it to older formats, because a lot of memes are just like different takes on older templates.
Yeah.
A lot of ways, and it's not that it's reusing the joke, it's freshening the joke up, which I think is important.
Yeah, and just like a new format.
Yeah. They should really write a history on memes. I think that would be a beautiful thing to see.
I think you'd be an incredible author for that. Like, if I was a publisher, look, I think that'd be an incredible idea. Just like the evolution of memes.
Yeah. The genealogy of the meme. It would be nice.
I mean, it has some rich history, without a doubt. And, with the evolution of memes, starting from, the very beginning of memes that we saw, like on iFunny and, other websites and stuff like that, they've changed drastically to where they are now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like going from like the older Facebook page, or like the old Facebook memes that we see all the time, to deep fried memes that make zero sense. Like, it's sort of like only a certain type of people like really get the concept behind a deep fried meme. And I think that kind of introduces you to kind of like a tier level system when it comes to memes. Like, I would say with like the most basic memes, like I don't know, like the advice cat, or like the advice animals, like stuff like that, like real old ones, like, that's bottom tier. Everybody gets that. Our grandmas are posting it on Facebook, and then, we progress over time to more sophisticated templates. And now we're at a point where it's literally just like 3 words, and it's probably the funniest thing ever,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And gosh, I like the point you made about deep fried memes, because they're just so abstract. It really is art, I think. I think memes are art. And so relating it to that, you go back, I guess you could compare it to like the early memes were kind of like pre-Renaissance paintings where the dimensions weren't quite right, but everybody got it. It's like, that's a guy. I can see that's a guy. And then, it evolves to like the Renaissance age, and everything's got more depth and quality, and it's robust aesthetically. And people can see a meme and they're like, oh my gosh, this is such an amazing meme. And it really speaks to all the frameworks of knowledge that I have about popular culture or social relations, or, whatever is going on. And then you like move forward to like a more modern age of memes, which is where like deep fried lands. And then it's like Jackson Pollock paintings where somebody just splattered paint on a canvas. And you're like, I think I appreciate it. I think I get it. Something speaks deep into my...
Something about it makes no sense, but it speaks to me.
Yeah. Just like Shrek T-posing, and then it just has the letter E, and it's all deep fried to hell. And it's like, I get it.
It adds up. Like, I get that. But then, like, if, like, say our parents or like grandparents were to look at that, like, what are we looking at here? What is this photo?
Did you make this? And it's like, no, somebody else.
Yeah, it was online. So where would you kind of rank yourself on the tier system of memes? Like I said, like 1 would be like, the very bottom, like our most basic intro memes, to 5 being like the meme you just talked about, where it's a deep fried photo of Shrek with the letter E below it. And where would you rank yourself between there?
If you would have asked me this a couple months ago, I probably would have said that like I understand every meme on a very deep level. But what meme really threw a wrench in the works and made me feel like Tiger Woods when he had the yips was The Bernie meme
Yes. With the mittens.
with the mittens, and he's just sitting there, and like people just put Bernie in places. And Booth Library, I made a meme with Bernie in it, and he's just sitting in the lobby. But I did that knowing that if there was something deeper than it's funny because it's just Bernie sitting there with mittens, then I've like completely lost. And it really made me question how, like, am I still in touch? Do I still have a finger on the pulse of what's going on with memes? Because to me, it's just like people are laughing because they're like, look, it's Bernie wearing mittens. But I was just like, put it on there. I didn't even think it was that funny of a meme format. I mean, it had its, qualities, but I wasn't like slapping my knees over it.
Yeah, I know what you mean by that. Like it can be seen as like a very like basic format or basic template, but you think about it and it could also be something like much deeper than that. Like you could post Bernie on, I don't know, like I've seen a ton of random photos on the internet where it could be anywhere from, like you said, like in the library and people see that, to him like playing like in a RuneScape background or whatever. Like it gets deep like that. So I think it kind of goes both, like it's on both ends,
Yeah.
But I definitely see what you're saying, where it comes to kind of like not feeling as in touch with the memes. And I definitely can say that, I'm kind of at that level because I'm no longer on Instagram. So I'm not constantly reminded of those fresh memes. However, Instagram, I thought was always late to the game as compared to Reddit, where like you get the dankest memes instantly. And that I'm not so active on that anymore. So I'm kind of lacking my meme intake, if I would say.
Well, you know what? Instagram, I feel like Instagram has really devolved. And you're right. Instagram was never really the freshest place to get memes unless you were looking specifically at the Instagram pages that were creating their own content. And those were golden. But for some reason, I feel like those are fewer and farther between. And a lot of Instagram is just screenshots of Twitter, screenshots of Reddit memes, and it's just reposting. But I'm telling you,
No creativity.
Like, no creativity ever since they did the Instagram update. And you probably wouldn't have seen this because you've been off Instagram for how long?
I got off midsummer and then I got back on just for a day on, I think, New Year's Day, just to upload a post to let the fans know I'm still there. But I was on for like 10 minutes. So like in total, very little time since June, July.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. So they did that update. I can't remember how long ago it's been now, where they just have like, instead of where the plus sign to add your own content, like to make a post on Instagram, it's like a shop and you go there and you're just shopping now. And it just like made Instagram, because Instagram always had that level and atmosphere of like, this is just a cheap way to just show you content and show you things that you can buy, or show you influencers who can, inform your lifestyle, things like that. But now it's just like so blatant that Instagram is just trying to sell you stuff. And the algorithm, I don't know if it's like this for everybody, but the algorithm on my Explore page on Instagram is bunk. It's just like very poorly done, like fitness advice. And it's like, I don't even look at fitness stuff really on Instagram.
Trying to
tell you something.
It really is. I think what it is because like I would go on there and I was looking at like a couple people that did intermittent fasting, but like in wild ways. They would make like, I don't know, like 40 pounds of like beef and rice, and they would just eat it. And I'm like, that's fascinating. And so, yeah, that's probably why they were like, this guy needs some help. So they would give me some like fitness advice or whatever, but it's just like poorly done. And it's always like influencers, and they're like, use my 30% off G Fuel code or whatever. And
yeah,
now is all it feels like. It doesn't feel like that. And going back to that idea of memes as part of our culture and art, it doesn't feel like that anymore. There's like, it's lost that sense of authenticity, what little authenticity it might have started with.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Like maybe it's just like you and I, but like I feel like memes just like aren't as prominent anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and maybe like, we're just not exposed to like the volumes that we were at one point. I don't know. Hopefully we don't get hate for talking down on the memes, but Look, I'm a big meme supporter. I've been there since day one. But yeah, I don't know. I think that, I wouldn't say it's taken a turn for the worst, but I think it's a step down from deep fried,
Hmm. I agree. And you know what? Sometimes I wonder, it's like, were memes in that vein sort of like an artistic movement in themselves? It's kind of like, I don't know, like punk music or something in the 70s. You have like people making punk music and it had like a little bit of bite back then and it was a movement. And then you like fast forward into like the 80s and 90s and it just becomes that thing where now it's just like, I don't know, a fashion thing or something. And like, it's not, but like at a certain point, it runs its course. How much how much farther can you go from deep fried memes where you've just like debased the joke down to like something that can only make sense with like the most niche information you could have possibly gotten from the darkest corners of the internet.
Yeah.
So I've kind of like gravitated towards Twitter, even though like Twitter is just a lot of political stuff. But yeah, people don't even really do memes on Twitter. They'll post an image and then they'll like put their take on it, which is just kind of like observational comedy.
Right. Yeah. Now I know we don't have too much time left, so that leads me into this is my very first time doing this. This is the first game I'm ever playing on the podcast with a guest. So I have emailed you a folder of memes, okay? And do you have that folder pulled up?
Yes, I
So
do.
I have 10 images, and we're gonna start with image number 1 where it's labeled, and I want you to either caption the meme or provide a little bit of background on the meme. Now they range from the most basic memes we've talked about to probably one of the most advanced ones or most advanced in our time. So yeah, it's up to you to caption it or break it down a little bit. Are you ready for it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and open image 1.
All right, so if I'm looking at the right one, we got Bad Luck Brian.
That's correct.
Okay, and Bad Luck Brian is one of those like pretty early on memes. I would say like, man, I saw Bad Luck Brian on icanhascheeseburger.com or something a very long time ago. And he's one of those guys where it's like, goes to fart, shits in his pants or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's to convey that meaning of like that moment we all have where it's like everything else is going right for everybody else, but there's that moment for you, and you just like the worst timing, the worst luck. I don't even know. I would like to know. See, this is where the history would be important. I want to know who picked this picture of this guy.
Yeah, who just found it online? Like, let me grant this guy bad luck for the rest of his life. Poor Brian.
Poor Brian. Like, I don't know. I'm looking at this picture and like, yeah, his get up's like, I don't want to say goofy. It's unique. He has a very unique outfit on.
It's perfect for the timing or for like the era that it was taken in.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the way Brian looks. He doesn't look particularly unlucky to me, but just like that look on his face. I don't know. It seems like whatever bad luck Brian has received, he's taken it in strides, and I think that's something we should all, shoot for.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, image 2.
I love this one. I don't know if this one has like an official name to it, but God, this is such a good.
Yeah.
This is one of those formats that I feel like is never gonna go out of style. Bad Luck Brian fell off. You don't see, a lot of fresh Bad Luck Brian memes anymore. But this is one of those formats where you can't really replace it in too many ways. Because you can I can't think of a good example off the top of my head, but you can remake Bad Luck Brian to freshen him up for a new age. But this one is just so timeless. And it's just like small brain ideas.
It is.
Which is usually not a bad idea. This format works beautifully. Love the comedy behind it because it's a small brain idea. And then as the idea progresses, it's usually actually something you would expect to be a lot dumber. And I love explaining jokes because explaining jokes is funny to me. And then like, I don't know how funny other people find it when somebody just breaks down a joke. Because it's kind of like watching a TV show. Like you watch SVU or something, and like it's a very serious show with a lot of serious topics. But then like if you're paying attention to like the camera angles and the lighting, and like you're trying to pick it apart, and you're like, I wonder why they chose that shot for that scene or whatever.
Yeah.
But I can't think of a really great example for this one.
We could literally just use that one for like the evolution of memes, and then the bottom image is like deep fried memes.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I love that. That is absolutely perfect for that.
Okay. Now we're skipping 3. Hop to image 4 and just explain this meme to me.
So it is deep fried. I don't know who that guy is, but it's
I have no idea.
That's the point. It's not important. Who that guy is not important to this meme. What's important to this meme is the dead expression in his face and the fact that he is reaching out to snatch your iPhone 4 out of your hands. Because it's that common thing with like anybody who has younger cousins or younger siblings or like spends any time around kids. If you have a cell phone, because kids grow up on tablets and smartphones, which is fine. I don't have any issues with that. But they have a very simple expectation for these devices where it's like, you should have Candy Crush on your device.
You have to have games on your phone.
You better have a game on your phone. And they want to play that game. They want to spend that time. They want to spend your battery life playing that game. And it's like, it doesn't matter how sticky their hands are. It doesn't matter if they're
going to play your games.
They're going to play your games on your phone. And the only way to get out of it is to lie to a child and say, I don't have any games on my phone.
It's my work phone.
It's my work phone. Exactly. It's my work phone. Don't look anything up on my work phone either. I'm just going to keep it in my pocket.
Okay. Image number 5. So I'd say this is a nice little mix between some deep fried and, regular, I'd say low to middle tier meme.
Yeah, no, this is fair. That's a really good assessment. And actually, let's take a step back from 30,000 feet. We're in a hot air balloon. We're looking down at this situation. I want to point out that, Chris, when you were here working at Booth Library, you were part of the Instagram team. And I want to shout you out for that because you were a content creator. Would you consider yourself a meme connoisseur?
I definitely, especially like at my time on the Instagram Dream Team, yes. I was caught up in the templates. It was a constant hustle looking for new formats, and I incorporated them. We had everything from Post Malone holding up the 2 beer cases. What else did we have? Actually, one of the templates that we have next, I've used that before. I don't think we ever dabbled in some deep fried because I don't think everyone would understand it. It was just too high of a level.
It's high culture. Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely say that, I'm somewhat of a meme connoisseur myself.
I'm going to have to agree with that. That belongs on your resume because your assessments are like so spot on for this. And the Shaq meme, I sleep and then real shit. And it's just like, it's kind of like, and here's the other thing about memes. They really are a reflection. Like they can be a radical reflection on society. We live in a society. That fact, they can reflect on that in radical ways because I've seen this one used, to like convey messages where we are critiquing, our culture and our society. And so it's like, I sleep. There's a real problem going on and nobody's paying attention to it. But then like such a minor thing and it's real shit now. And so, I mean, like I've seen this one used a lot for political commentary. Anybody can be Stephen Colbert with this meme template, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't think of a good example. I'm blanking on examples today.
There's a ton of good Shaq memes out there. I was torn between that one and then the one where Shaq is in his car pointing at the camera. See, that's a great one. You can use that for a ton of things. I've used it before with Shaq pulling up to McDonald's, like ice cream machine working. Nah, ice cream machine not working. Have a good day.
Understand. Have a good day.
Yeah. Okay. Let's hop to image 9.
Okay.
Now this is somewhat of a different meme. I would say this is a fairly recent one. And this can be used in a lot of different ways.
I agree. I love this meme so much too. I'm going to say that about every meme. I love all these memes.
I love all the memes, dude.
Yeah. Oh, here's my fun fact. All growing up, I watched Comedy Central Presents, where it was like those 20-minute, with commercial ad breaks, 20-minute stand-up sets from like all sorts of comedians. And that's where you could see a comedian before they blew up and got their own Comedy Central special, before they got their own Comedy Central TV show or whatever. Loved watching stand-up comedy. I always wanted to get into stand-up comedy. I never had the backbone to try it, but it's also like, I just don't think that I could. I feel like I could. I feel like I would struggle, and I just never bothered to put the time into it because I'm a failure. But I never sat down and
Come
like.
on, you're not that bad.
It's not that bad. It's not that I'm not.
Not that bad.
It's not that bad. I think I'm funnier. I think I'm funnier than I actually am sometimes. Sometimes I kill it, but I don't know
think
if
you
I
would
could like.
succeed. I think you do very well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And so it's like that love, but what it really translates to is like, I have a very deep love of comedy, and I think a lot of people do. Pretty much everybody likes to laugh. I can't think of a single person that doesn't. And so that's where like my big appreciation for memes really comes from. And so Are You Winning, Son is such a good one, because it's like, it's that father figure, who comes in and like, they're not even, they're not criticizing their son for doing whatever the hell that he's doing on the computer. And sometimes it's not even a kid on a computer. It's like, this can be mixed with deep fried memes to get like really
memes
nice
can be
fry.
like mixed and matched 100%.
Yeah, I think some of the best memes are mixed and matched memes,
Yeah, that it's like a level of intelligence, like tier 5, like you if you know, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
and that's where it goes back to like, you have to have so much referential knowledge for memes, because it's like, if you've seen one meme format and you've never seen another, it's over. You're not getting the entire context of the joke. And
there you go.
It's like, it's a supportive dad, and he's like, "Are you winning, son?" Because he's trying to relate to his kid, and it's usually his kid doing something. Like, he's just sitting there he's like sitting there watching Catgirl animes or something.
Something crazy. The dad just cares. The dad cares. That's what it is. Okay. Now, last image, I made this one last on purpose because this one truly spoke to me. Now what's your take on this meme right here? It's a fire meme. This is probably one of the dankest memes I've seen. That's why I had to include it.
It is dank. And you know what? We never really went into like what makes dank memes funny. So oh my goodness, there's all sorts of dank memes. There are dank memes that like go into really edgelord territory in bad taste, and they tend to like punch down or make light of issues that you really shouldn't make light of. Now, this is an example of what I would say is a perfect dank meme, because who is it really hurting? The fact that like a combine harvester is going to run over this loving couple that is spending time together in a wheat field where you shouldn't spend time together. I don't know who's laying down in a wheat field together. It's ridiculous. And I think it's also making light of that fact that like there's a stock photo out of there of just like two people.
Yeah.
And like in a hay.
Yeah, like you just look at it and like, it's deep reading the caption and looking at the images. But when you take a deeper look at it, they're laying in the field.
Oh yeah.
The combine, which is by far one of my favorite type of tractors, is about to take them out.
Oh, they're about to
the love is strong, but the combine harvester is even stronger. 100%.
Oh God, yeah, exactly. 100%.
I'm taking that to the grave with me.
And they are too. They are going to the grave bundled up in a hay bundle. And that's what makes it funny, because it speaks to that, like, that dark, this couple is about to die. And so it's dark humor. They're about to get threshed up by a combine harvester. It's going to be a bloody mess. They were just going there to be romantic. It's deep fried. It's perfect. It's so good.
It is. Now those are all the images I have for this episode. Derek, I really appreciate you coming on. I wish we had more time. You know, we're going to have to get you back on again soon, and we're talking just dank memes the whole episode.
Oh, yeah.
So,
anytime.
Dude, again, thank you. I had a really good time. Do you have anything you want to plug or anything you'd like to tell the fans?
Yeah. So, well, first off, thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me on here. Anytime you want me back, please feel free. I do want to plug Booth_library on Instagram.
There we go.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make a meme. Actually, you know what? I might call you in. We might tandem a meme over text or something, because I haven't posted in about a month. It's been a very busy time at the library, but we'll make ourselves a meme. We're gonna post some fresh content for the viewers. Anybody who's listening, go follow Booth_library on Instagram.
You won't regret it.
Exactly. You won't regret it. You're just going to get informed. You're just going to have a laugh.
Exactly. There's no downside to following Booth_library.
That's facts.
Not at all. All right, Derek. Well, you have a wonderful day today. And, if you're not following Booth_library, go to Instagram. Check them out right now. You won't regret it. And if you have any questions or anything you'd like to reach out to the podcast and say, you can always find me at justchrispodcast@gmail.com. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Derek, thank you for coming on, and I'll talk to you soon.